This is just some sort of quick and dirty arc to understanding Rust ownership. So I'm assuming that you know what structs are, even though this is chapter 4, and those things have not been mentioned here, right? So I'm assuming you know what structs and what functions are. So I'm just gonna walk through this real quick. So it says every value in Rust has an owner. There can only be one owner at a time, and when owner go out of scope, the value is dropped. So I'm going to demonstrate this. Alright, so suppose I have let's start with something very basic. Let's say alright, so let's say I have a variable name equals to Alex, and then yeah, this is what it means. So I have a value and then there is an owner. So this is the owner of this value. This variable owns this value, right? So let me just do something real quick. Let's say for print name. Okay, so you say name. Now okay, so if I do print name, now this should work. I'm going to use cargo watch for this thing to make it real quick. Oops, so sorry, this should be alright. So Alex is printed, right? So let me duplicate this. Okay, that still works. So let's do something to string. Now this is the problem. Now originally the type of this one was a reference. It's a reference. I'm gonna clear this out. So it works, but once it's string, now you can't do this anymore. That's because this, once I pass it to this function becomes the owner on this line, and if I pass it here, this value is already owned, moved into this function scope, so it doesn't exist anymore. It already died after this function call. But if I comment this out, this is going to work. Oh, sorry, this should be a string. Alright, yeah, this is what I'm trying to explain. Now if I comment this out, this is string, this is string, this is going to work. Why? Because this value Alex has been passed to this function, so it is this function that owns the value Alex, not this variable name anymore. So name is a potential owner, print name is a potential owner. Originally name Alex is owned by the variable name, and then when I pass it here into this function, it is owned, it becomes owned by this print name. So if I do this here, it's not gonna work anymore. The way about it now, if you let's read what we have here. So it says this parameter takes ownership, right? So it takes ownership, and that's what Rust is saying. Each value in Rust can only have just one single owner, just one owner at a time, and it is owned here, and now the ownership was passed to this guy, and now when it is passed, see, it says that when the owner goes out of scope, the value is dropped. Now the lifetime, now lifetime in quotes this time does not mean like the lifetime as we have it in Rust. Now this function, the value dies when this function execution finishes. That's what I mean by the lifetime. So a way to fix this will just be to pass a reference to it, so they're all pointing to that value, and this would be, so I can have this and then I can have this, so that works. So I can have multiple of those things. It's gonna work because they don't own it, they don't own the value, they are only making a reference to it, they are only pointing to it, like they are making a copy in a sense, not owning it. That's one. Another thing to do right here, let's say I have a struct, let's say struct person. Yeah, this is a very good example. Okay, so I'm gonna do something real quick using the implementation body. Say implement person. Okay, no, I don't need this guy. So in here, like I said the other time, this should be a string, a reference to a string rather, this an str, but I'm passing it here. So let's do something real quick. Let's do let person equals to, all right, that works, no problem. Now this works without issue because this takes a reference to this guy. But if I duplicate this line and come to this part, it fails for the same reason. Why? This function already takes ownership of this guy, and then if you check, it says the parameter takes ownership. So as always, what I can do here is str, and then I can do name dot to string here, and then that works. So there's no need for ownership anymore, and then I can pass a reference here, and all of those things, all of them work. Another example is using the struct. So if I say great, okay, let's do something. Let's say fun, sorry, great person. Yeah, that's what I want to do. But instead of a reference, the same thing applies. I want to pass the value. So I'm doing great person, right? That works because this person variable owns this value. And then if I do this, duplicate it, it's gonna fail. Why? Because this already takes the ownership. Now a way to do it would be, a quick way, especially when you're starting out, is to slap everything with clone. So if you do clone, and now clone won't work for this guy. Why? Because clone is not derived for the function. So to make it work, so I can derive clone. So deriving clone, now this works, and then I can have, but if I duplicate this again, it's still going to fail because this takes the ownership, this copies it, and this takes the ownership. So really, that's just like a quick and dirty hack to understanding the ownership, and I hope it really helps.